Hi, I'm Dr. Nicole.
And Coach Cofia.
And Dion, welcome to Opportunities Over Obstacles.
The podcast where we discuss lessons in motherhood,
Life and business.
Hey, hey, hey.
What's
how are
up?
you?
There we go.
Hi, ladies.
How's it
What's
We're
going?
up?
going to need a sound engineer soon because I was like, oh, wait.
Yes, on the
You
ones
got
and
this.
twos.
We believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got this.
So, what have you guys been up to? What's hot? What's happening in the world today?
Well, apparently Coach Cofia hot over there showing all the
Hmm. She got neck bones and shoulder
collarbone,
bones.
shoulders,
The little shimmy.
features is popping.
They are. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes, wellness journey is in full effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Doesn't it feel amazing?
It feels incredible.
Mhm.
Incredible. Yeah. And it's almost like anything that you kind of start to venture into, you begin to like really enjoy it and like crave it. And then you just want to excel in it and do more of it and like
Yes.
be at your best. Kind of like how we
Mhm.
in business, we're like, okay, how can I improve my business or, grow it or whatever. It's like
Mhm.
the same
Right.
kind of thing in wellness. It's like, what can I tweak here? How can I better improve
Yeah.
So
energy?
it's
Whatever.
become a habit, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
for sure, for sure.
So good.
Okay.
So we're talking about injection, surgery, or the gym.
Ooh, child.
Ooh, child. So I actually found the post in this Facebook group I'm a part of.
Okay.
Uh, it says some of y'all be first of all, the grammar. Some of y'all be fresh. Some of y'all be fresh off the table and asking about Wegovy and other weight loss drugs, and it's like a screwy face. And there's a mixture of comments. Like some people are like, "Ooh," like co-signing. Other people are like, "Relax, it's just a tool." Because this is in a bariatric, for context. This is in a bariatric weight loss group. So people have
Mhm.
had bypass, they've had the sleeve. Um, it's
So
just
her point being like that sounds just real stank. Like what is she trying to say?
right. And I'm looking, and I don't even see any follow up comments from her. I don't know if she did like a drive by.
He said, let me just drop this on y'all real quick. You
Right.
said
So some
sound
person says, one person said, upset they ain't lose 100 pounds in 2 days. I can't fault them 100%. Seems some doctors don't fully educate their patients, just like people being 1 week out and asking when can they have a soda or a cheeseburger. Oh, that's what I had.
Ooh.
That's kind of what I had said.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at it, but in this context, you got to do the work. You got to do the work.
yeah. I,
So is part of the work though the mindset? So trying to get clear on what you need and what your urges, what do you call them? Like your cravings are. Because I feel like when people ask questions, they're trying to work through like, oh my God, I really want this cake. I'd rather post about it than just go and eat this cake.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
You don't believe.
you're
The
like,
answer
no, they
well,
just
is no.
because as someone who's had surgery twice, first of all, your body is adjusting for 6 to 9 months. So you don't they're not really most surgeons aren't gonna advise you to take any type of suppressant, any type like because your body is still regulating itself.
Mhm.
Your stomach is still really sensitive, like, you don't even know what foods you can tolerate, like, and many like, okay, I'm gonna speak for me. I've had my organs rearranged.
Mhm.
So
ooh,
you're still healing months and months after. So
mhm.
I kind of understand, but again, I don't have the context. I'm not the original poster, but she's basically like work your tool first before you like okay, then move on to the next thing. That's kind of what the sentiment is that I'm seeing.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah,
What
I
is the tool that they're working though? I guess that's my question. Like, I understand that your stomach is smaller, so that potentially is the tool. But
mhm.
then, like, how do you address the desire?
Cravings.
Right, the
Mhm.
Your
desire to
cravings.
like you still want to eat the same stuff. Like, there's nothing
Um,
that has changed from the time you get off the table till.
well, it doesn't start when you get on the table, though. And I think a lot of people don't really understand the full program of a weight loss surgery. Like there's so much like screenings, tests. They tell you to do some people do like 6 weeks of a special diet before. I mean, you're really supposed to you're supposed to cut out the habits well before your surgery. And then after your surgery, you're almost like an infant. It's like you're reintroducing every single type of food and texture back into your body. So you don't necessarily start like the day after. Um, and it is a mindset shift because up here, you still want to eat. Because I think I shared with you guys, like I got sick one time because I was like, oh, I'm hungry. And I ate too much and it was nasty. It was really nasty.
Mhm.
Um, so there are tools that they give you. There are support groups. They're giving you tips on portion sizes, what your plate should look like. You're tracking your macros and your micros. So it is a lifestyle change. And I'm not saying again, I think it's the timing. I think it's the timing. I don't think I would advise that you get the surgery and then you get on Wegovy or whatever Ozempic right away. That's
Mhm.
because you might not need it.
But I think people like what I notice in these groups is people are so impatient. So when someone asks
Mm,
something, they're like, well, ask this. But my theory is that a person asking is almost their way of trying to deal with the craving. They don't
yeah,
know. So they're getting on there like, because I have some people that I've worked with that did the surgery, but they hadn't really worked through all that stuff and they gained it all back.
right.
So when somebody comes and asks that, they literally might not have anybody. You know
To
what I'm
talk.
saying? Like they might just be saying something. And then if people come on and encourage and say, no, sis, you can't do that. Like,
Hmm.
can you get, can you have a turkey burger or whatever it is? Then it could actually help the person versus people being like, well, you should have asked your doctor that beforehand.
And now, as someone who has said, "Hey, have you?" I don't ask nasty
You
like
say it
that,
nicely, yeah.
but unless, like I said, you're going to a foreign country to get this, like hospital, like these programs are very thorough and robust. Like they give you, like I still get emails from my group group from 6 years ago. They meet every single Wednesday. You can go in person. You have access to nutritionists, mental health, like
Mhm.
most programs, and that's not my
Yeah.
area of expertise, but most
Mm.
programs, you have the resources there. So I think one of you mentioned earlier, it might be people just looking for validation, like
Yeah.
permission to have a thing,
I,
but also understand if you eat the thing, you could tear up your stomach, literally tear your stomach up.
yeah.
So yeah, address all the issues. And I know the medications, they work wonders. But if you're still adjusted, like it's a process, right? So and I wouldn't recommend. I just wouldn't recommend it. Like my insulin resistance changed dramatically since the surgery. But I've also been doing the work, right? And everybody's different, so maybe someone else does need support, but you have to give it time. That's my biggest concern because you could actually end up rupturing something, and
Mhm.
yeah, because you have a whole new body. Think about it that way. So before you switch meds and try different foods, you got to just take it day by day in phases. And that's why they phase you into it because there are certain things that you can't stomach after you've had the surgery. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen people have the surgery though and still eat a whole cheesesteak. So that just amazes me because I'm like, that's a lot of meat and
They
grease
should have
and
came to the group and asked about it so everybody could say, "No, sis, don't eat that cheesesteak."
now I'll eat a
Sometimes
half
you
a
just need to
cheesesteak.
hear it.
Right, and I get it. But I think it's also important for someone to be honest with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, all right, y'all. And I've seen like these accountability posts. Like, y'all,
Mm.
I really want X, Y, and Z, right? Like, just do that instead of just being
Yeah.
like,
When can I
Yeah.
can I
have
eat?
Chinese
Yeah,
food?
like somebody asked about beer, and I'm like, beer is a big no-no. You're not supposed to
Oh,
have
really?
anything
Uh-huh.
carbonated for, geez, a few years. You're really not in,
Oh,
well, indefinitely, actually, but
yeah.
definitely a few years before you can have like flavored, like carbonated water, soda, be like, mm-mm. Like any type of sparkling cider. I'm just
Hmm.
like, y'all are tearing your bodies up. And then, back to the addiction of it, right? Like you're introducing these foods so early, you're not giving the habits that you're trying to build a healthy chance to take
Yeah.
hold. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't don't think people, I think we kind of assume that people have a level of comprehension that is going to like, it's that like we all come in thinking, okay, everybody understands at this level. I don't think that's the case though.
Hmm.
And I think when we give this information, or when we're in these groups, or when we are carrying people through programs or what have you, I don't think we consider their level of comprehension, and like even the definition of words and what they mean, and like the baseline of that stuff, like the nutrition. Like, I understand you could go through a whole nutrition course and come out and not understand anything because you don't know what these words
It
mean.
was too above your head in a way
Then
somehow.
that's a conversation we need to have with the medical community. Like, why are y'all approving people who don't have a like? Because that's step number one.
Money.
Like, they gave me help. Then there's that. They gave me all types of hell. I had to take a quiz and I had to pass to. I had to get like an 80%. Like, I will say my hospital was very thorough, but
Yeah.
that goes back to like, I'm not mad if you find a sucker, lick it. If you're trying to get weight loss surgery and they let you skate on through, I
But
mean,
it reminds me of the book
why you
I'm
laughing?
reading. No, when you said if you find a sucker, lick
Like, I'm not
because
mad at the
you
people who skated
yes.
through, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a
because
systemic
we
issue.
process, like, it reminds me of this book I'm reading where it's like all of us, we really operate on such an emotional level. So even if we comprehend intellectually or cognitively, like we comprehend the words, but in those moments with these food desires and stuff, it is so emotional that
Yes.
I think that some of that stuff even goes out the window. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
even noticed with myself, like, because just very, very much over time building on things, I've changed so much of my habits. I don't really have a craving for junk food, but I do know what that feels like. I remember when you be like, you eat one chip
And
and
it's old.
it goes out the window. Everything you know to be true about
Yeah.
not eating chips, you will sit there and eat that whole bag. It's like the oil goes to your brain, the salt, and you just, it switches a switch. And I
Yeah.
don't even consider myself somebody with like a kind of lot of food addictions, but like just knowing where you just are going like this, and it literally had to be to where I just cut that stuff out to not even have, not to say I never eat chips or nothing, but it doesn't have that effect. But it took almost
Mhm.
like so much to get to that point. So I'm imagining somebody who's in the midst of that, all
Yeah.
that you know just goes out the window. You're just like,
Give me the
Listen,
yeah.
I had to go to a few therapy sessions because they set you up with mental health professionals,
mm,
and then talk to my therapist because for me, so remember, there was a young lady, it was a client of mine, and she helped people to identify why they're craving or have a weakness for certain foods.
I think I
And
remember.
right. So mine was starches. So
Oh
potatoes,
yes, I
bowl of
remember.
rice.
Mhm.
Like, I remember eating that as a kid. So for me, it was a comfort food. So when I get
Mm.
lonely, I want bread, I want rice, I want pasta. So I've had to learn how to substitute, like recognize those feelings and then substitute that out.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of places do make it so hard for you to get the surgery. Like,
Mm.
I had been asking for years, and my doctor was like, "Nope, stick to it." My primary doctor. And finally, and unfortunately, right, it got to the point where my blood pressure was just and my weight was just,
Mm.
through the roof. But it wasn't for lack of trying, right? So by then I had started walking and running and going to the gym regularly and, monitoring my foods. And then the tool was introduced. And I think it's something to be said for doing the work, like putting the reps in first, but not just jumping to that right away. Like, if you know you need help with a thing and you've been at it, that's fine. And that's not a judgment. That's just, and I'm speaking from experience. Like, I don't think I would have seen the same results if I had just gotten the surgery right away. Like, because life is still going to life. And there could be times where, like, when I lost my mom, I kind of slipped back into some habits, not as bad as I would have, I think, if I hadn't, had those good habits off the bat. So it's complicated. It's too many layers. It's so many layers to this. But
But
I just
more
thought
and
it was
more
funny.
people, because the population is getting bigger, so we need to know what's going to help people, right? Don't you think?
Oh
Like
yeah,
the American
absolutely.
lifestyle.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then you have the other side of the fence, right? People who are like, "You don't need that. You don't need why you need surgery? Why you need shots?"
Mm.
I actually had one person who had never been big a day in her life was like, "You just need to watch what you eat, Dion, and just walk more often." And I was like, "Don't
Was
you think
this who was this? Look.
I was like,
Was this
"Heifer, don't you think I tried like at 40 years old? You don't think I tried for 40 years? Like apparently it didn't work." And as someone who's never been overweight, I was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm not taking advice. I'm not taking advice from you." Right? So,
Mhm. Yeah, there's so many forces against. I mean, like that. Literally, the food is designed to make you addicted. So, like, there's literally a major money making infrastructure that's
mhm,
built on people getting fatter and sicker and weaker and
yep,
dependent on the system. So, like, you're like fighting that. And so then you think about consuming all of these foods that literally change the way you think and the way your body functions, and it breaks it down.
mhm.
And then you need help, but then you feel bad for getting the help because society says eat less,
why didn't you
move
just
more.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you don't realize like how difficult it is for a person to make these changes if they have all of this kind of going against them, and then to not even know that you have this stuff going against you. Like
That's the part. I think
that's
a lot of us walk around not even knowing what the underlying issues are. And I'm like, shoot, I could have addressed this decades ago. Like, are you serious?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes me think, why do we always have to like it's this sense of like you've got to try all this stuff and fail before you get the real solution. And people go through years of suffering. Because I think about even with mental health, so many of
Mm,
the clients I work with, it's like it's 10 years later and you're finally accepting it's okay to take medication. Why do we have to have all this suffering? Like it can't be until 20 years after you've tried every solution now you can get the one that's going to work well for you. Like I feel like we're conditioned to
yeah.
suffering
I
in
think
a
that's that's like torment. Like to make
way.
people to say you have to go decades. Like that's the extreme of it. But
It's
I
true
don't know.
though.
It's a balance though. Like I feel we talk about people wanting things so easily and not working for the
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
So there is something to be said for that. But yeah, don't torture yourself. Like if you need the help, like get it. But you also have to know yourself too. Like you know if you're taking the shortcut or not. And I think that's where that
But from what
individual,
I'm hearing, neither surgery nor injections, different medications are a
mhm.
shortcut because what we see is every person who does those things and doesn't do the work is right back at square one. So it's not even
Absolutely.
like a shortcut.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's just a negative. There's a negative connotation with not doing things without this hard grit grind type of like thing. And I think I think that's wrong. And I think that when I understood leverage and how I can apply that in my business to get further faster with a tool or resource or vehicle, if I'm going to do that in my business, why in the world wouldn't I do that in my health? Like why in the and why do I look at this resource or vehicle as a negative thing when it's getting me there faster? And
Mhm.
then for me it was like, oh dang, but I feel bad for the people that can't ride in the car to get there faster.
Mm.
Or I feel bad for people who can't afford the medicine. It's like, okay,
Survivor's guilt in a
it's
way, or like,
yes, and it's like we got to deal with all of those things. And then you have to deal with the fact that other people don't agree and they say all these slick comments and they say all these negative things. It's like it's that whole like trying to make a change and realizing all of the things that are coming against you, the people, the places, the situations, and really having to change the way you think and being okay standing alone.
I was gonna
Because
say you have to that's where you just have to double down on like why you're doing what you're doing.
yeah,
So, like I said, the people who are in it for the shortcut, they're gonna
Is
A
that
rude
really a thing
awakening.
though? Like, I
They're
don't
gonna F around and find out. They're
like,
gonna see, like, it's not gonna work versus someone who's using it as a tool to improve their quality of life and get to a certain point.
is that really
That's
a
just
shortcut though? I think that's the problem. I think we think
some
that
people
that
only
it
want to get the number. They want to fit in their size, whatever jeans. So
but but why is that a problem though? That's what I'm saying.
mhm.
Like, why is that a problem that they want that? Why is that?
Um, I feel like, and this is just my experience, I've had more success focusing on health than the number on the scale. Like we
But
talk
that's
about
you.
non-scale victories, right? Like I'm looking at, so right now I am 20 some odd pounds heavier than I was at my lowest after surgery. But my numbers are better now than they were then.
The
At the end of
first
the day, after the first surgery 6 years ago. So when I think about my this is just me. When I think about my reason for doing it, which is so I can be around for my freaking kids and or not have to depend on medications or apparatuses, um, I'm in a better place now than I was then. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's got to be more than just a jean size. That's just me. It's a free world. You can
what if
if you
somebody a
if
lady wants to look good for her man, point blank?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible to do that. What I have
Mhm.
seen as a bariatric patient is that if that is your driving factor, it does not last for long.
Okay.
That's
I
so
think
the conversation I was having last week with some friends of mine at church. It was like, "Oh, I want to get back to the size from high school," which I think is ridiculous. Like I don't want to be that size. Like I'm 46. I'm not going to be the same. So thinking about the image of beauty, like I just feel like that's taken precedence over health. So if you focus on that, the weight's going to freaking come off.
and if you focus on
So
the other will come with it.
maybe
And the
not
other
necessarily,
and but also maybe
not
on the
also
second
maybe
part,
not from my
because
experience. That's just
if you focus on health and you still don't like yourself and you still don't
mhm,
feel good about yourself, you don't get the other part. So both of them can get you to the same destination if you have the right mindset. So we got to
mhm,
stop labeling the routes that people take as
mhm.
better or worse than, because it's going to differ for each person.
I'm just looking at the long term results, right? Studies have shown when you are focused on what do you call it, the aesthetics.
Aesthetics,
Mhm.
external or
It's not saying you can't get there, but it leads to more unhealthy habits because you have people with eating disorders
yeah.
and you're not living really a healthy lifestyle. Again, not a blanket statement, but if that is your sole reason, and of course I'm looking for my man. I would love to be down to a 12. Absolutely. But why can't I have that in I feel like you get more lasting results when you're focusing on the numbers and on being healthy.
Well, this was a
That is just my
debate.
observation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
that's
this is funny because this was a debate in the Black fitness group. I think both of you are in it, but I love that group. Somebody
mhm,
said, because they always do put all kind of pictures, thirst traps, or whatever you want to call them, people looking cute. And somebody was like, we see all the workout pictures and the thirst traps and the bikinis and whatever the guys are wearing, but I want to see more of the kitchen pictures. What are y'all eating? Blah blah blah. And then it started this debate, and then somebody was like, "Well, maybe no." Then they said because y'all just want to look good. It's kind of like the same thing.
and
So
it's
it was an
nothing
interesting
listen,
debate. Hmm.
you gotta live your life. If you wanna look good, but have cholesterol through the wazoo, have at it. Like and that's not me being smart. If that's your priority, that's not I think that's unfortunate because if our bodies are truly our temples, right? Like, why isn't that the priority? It's not a
But
judgment.
maybe it's the
That's my
carrot and the
opinion.
stick.
Yeah, I
It
think
Like
could
the
be it
carrot
could be a
is
carrot and a stick,
you
but
have both
you can have both. I did not say they were mutually exclusive, but what I found is it does not last as long
for
because
you.
think about uh, I'm in communities. I'm in a weight loss group. I've been doing this for 46. I don't know everyone's journey on the planet, but I can tell you if we're saying that you are what you eat, that what you are how you show up, like summertime, we say all the time, summer bodies are made in winter. Like it's in the kitchen, right? So the kitchen, what you're putting into your body, that's going to be reflected on the outside. That's just
Now let me ask you, can is there any way to have weight loss surgery and go back to eating junk
Oh,
food, but you eat it limited and you still maintain the weight?
yes. You also have to know you, and you have to know your body.
Mhm.
Like, so when we talked about someone craving something,
Like
wanting the taste
grease,
for s I
oil,
already know me. I'm not gonna go a whole week without eating something greasy. I need a chicken wing or a nugget. I already know me, right?
mhm,
Because if I deprive myself, guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna sit in the corner for a
and
whole
binge.
week, and I'll
Mhm.
be ordering Grubhub, I'm gonna eat Chick-fil-A, so you have to know your body. If you know that it's a slippery slope, I know people who are just like, "Nope," who have had the surgery and cut it out altogether.
Yeah.
Because once they get a taste, it's a wrap. So, again, everybody's journey is different. I'm not faulting anybody's journey, but I just feel we have a responsibility to take care of our bodies from a health perspective, and then everything else is gonna fall in line. Yeah, I wanna be snatched from my husband. Heck yeah. Matter of fact, I want the potato salad arms going.
Now
But
what's that?
so the loose I don't know if y'all can see it, but the loose skin, right? But I also know I have to be lifting. My doctor said you're doing too much cardio.
Mhm.
So if I get that surgery on my abs and on my arms, guess what I'm gonna be doing? I gotta you gotta do both. But I'm not gonna lead with that though, because if I get the surgery and I'm not doing the work, it's just gonna look like that again in a couple years. So again,
Okay, all
not
right, you
not
guys will love
gospel.
this one. Okay, you're in Back on the Block, the lady Sin, the career group. What's her name?
Mm,
She had it
mhm,
was a post actually like this where she was almost 400 pounds.
ooh,
And she said she had the surgery. This is her 6 year. It was a deep post, 6 year anniversary. And she lost all this weight. She had the tummy tuck and everything because of the skin that was there. But she
oh, yeah,
said she literally was saying that at the weight she was, so it kind of goes to both points. There was no way she could be her best self, even how she has grown this community, because her self esteem, she could never, she showed the before and after. Like
mhm,
the way she looked, she felt like her true self was hiding within that body. Like she was never supposed to be in such, not just overweight, but everything. She wasn't exercised. She didn't feel good about herself. She got the
mhm,
surgery, she exercised, she got the tummy tuck, and she's like, this is even part of what could help her business grow like this, because the level of confidence and not being afraid to put herself out there. I was like, this is so deep. Like I feel like it combined
yeah,
all of it. Like the
yeah,
mental, the emotional, the vanity part, which is true, and the, obviously the health part. Wait, what is, I mean, it was deep because I did not know. It's funny. When I got in that group, this was after the weight loss. So I never knew of her as this
I'm
very
trying to
big
picture what she
person.
even looks like.
I'm gonna find it for
I've
you.
been in her group I've seen
Because we
posts,
do make
but
assumptions of people, like
based
their
on
competence. Like when I see
mhm,
her now, she's just boom. Like it goes along with her business, the brand, everything. But I'm trying to
yeah,
imagine, like, would that have that viewpoint of her when she showed her before picture? I'm like, whoa.
yeah. It's like you were saying I think you guys were talking about oh, that was her before? Oh, wow.
But now it's like, look,
And that's why I'm trying to hold off on this surgery because I'm like, I'm doing this one time, right? And there's only but so much you can tighten up that tummy area too. Like I've been over 300 pounds, got down to 200, back up to 274. Now I'm in my 230s. Like your skin, it's only but so much you can firm that up. Um, and I do agree that it affects how people perceive you too. People definitely treated me, even now, even though I'm not like terribly skinny, but based on when I look back, like how I was at like 304, big difference.
what, like how so?
It feels like I've always been like the biggest one in the room or the second biggest one in the room. So
You
I
said
felt
number two.
yeah, like I was one of the bigger girls, but it definitely was a feeling of like being invisible a lot of times, whether it was at work when it came to dating. Was that yeah, I was pretty big too before before I got married. Oh geez, and then I almost killed myself trying to get and that's another reason why. I lost
Your
60
wedding dress?
pounds. I ordered that dress 2 sizes down and it had a corset. And my mom was like, are you insane?" And I lost that weight. And guess what happened? First year, what they call it? The happy weight. First year of marriage, all back. That's why I'm just like, I mean, it's great. All right. My levels probably improved, my cholesterol and all that, but the weight came back. Because I
Yeah.
was just like, all right,
Mm.
wedding's over.
Got
Goal
the
achieved.
man. Look,
Got
I
the
got the
man.
man. Well,
But you guys,
Cofia, you made a video. I loved that video. I forgot what it was called. I lost 50 pounds for my dream man or something like that. I lost the weight for the man.
Yes.
And people were mad. They
Oh,
took it the wrong way.
big mad. Big mad. You not it was so many, like one lady said, I was gonna pray for you because what
not,
kind of
oh,
self-esteem would you have to say that? I'm like, and what kind of judgment would you have to make this type of assumption with such little information? Like, but yeah. And I think it was more so like um wanting, I know the type of man that I desire. I know what is attractive to me, and I know like, yeah, I mean, I know what I like, right? And so it was like having a conversation with God, like, okay, I know what I like. I need to be able to look at him and say, okay, he cares about his health. And I think and it was this exact phrasing. I want to look at him and know that he cares about his health. I don't need a six pack. I don't need, but I think there's a difference between looking at a person who cares about their health and looking at a person who doesn't. Like, it's clear to me.
hmm
And so that's what I said. And that's what I wanted. And in that moment, when I was having this conversation with God, it was like, okay, Kofi, are you that person? Like, do you show up that way? And so it was like, okay, I got to this place where I appreciate I like my body. I appreciate my body. I love my body. I'm good. I'm content. But then it's like, okay, I really want a purpose partner. Okay, well, let's look at how am I showing up in life? How am I showing up, for the things that I desire and all that? And it's like, am I matching that same energy? And I wasn't. And so that started me on the journey. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
Yeah, you have to definitely not that you have to be perfect, but you do want to be what you attract. Like that's
Yeah.
that's fair.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
but I don't know if everybody considers that whole same thing. The other
Mhm.
side, I think, which was a little bit deeper for me, was like, I wanted to make sure that I got with somebody that I didn't look back and say, well, at my best, would I still have picked the same?
So settling.
Right.
Mm.
And so for me, that's why I was like, I want to be my best, show up as my best, and I want to attract the best. I don't want to get with somebody and be like, oh, I wonder, if that was the case. And it feels good. Feels good.
And it's working out.
It's working.
I was going to ask a follow up
Inside joke.
question, but that's a different topic.
It's working well. It's working well. It's definitely working well.
So
Oh,
should we say that the male it's funny because I see a lot of these posts and people saying stuff about decenter men and all this. I'm like, child, men,
what?
women, we always going to center men and men are always going to center women.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Not to say your whole life is obsessed with them,
Yeah.
but like that is a motivation. Men
Mm.
want to get resources to get a woman. Women want to be desirable to get a man. Like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I don't understand why we're trying to be
Re-
like, that's not a bad thing, not us, but like when I see people saying this, like, I just want to look good for myself. Okay, part of having sex appeal is it has to do with attracting the other
Someone
person. Like,
else.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you don't have to be man crazy. Like, yes, do
Yeah.
you, but at the same time, that is a motive. Like, it
Yeah.
means something.
I
We're
wonder if
afraid to
that's
say it. We're
been
afraid to say it.
demonized or
Yes.
weapon.
Mm.
demonize or
Yes.
having sex appeal. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't want to attract because grew up in a very like conservative house. So it's like you don't want to
Yeah.
attract the wrong type of attention. Oh, I had someone. I didn't tell y'all this. Someone at my church told me that I have to watch how I dress my daughter because no, was it me or my daughter? I forget. Anyway, because so even the men in the church, and I was just like,
Why don't you get on the men in the church?
why
Yes.
don't you get on the men in the church? And two, like I've been hit on in full, like loose fitting clothes. Like it's not
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot behind that, and maybe that's another topic too. Like,
Mhm.
why is sex appeal or just showing up to attract the opposite sex? Why is that like a bad thing?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that
And
how
it's not even how you dress. You could be fully some of the most
exactly our
sensuous women
curves?
are
Think about
full,
our
yeah.
curves. That's what's like our bodies attract.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you?
Like,
How
I believe in girls dressing modestly, but that isn't it has
that's
nothing
different.
to do with yeah, like,
Yeah,
she knows something about some man in the church that she's not
it was an
saying
older
because
lady. I was like, God bless you. She's a sweetheart. But when she said that, I was like, okay.
Thank you, Mother.
Okay.
We
she
Then
appreciate
knows
and
some
then I
secret.
proceeded to sing in my little form-fitting dress, but anyway. But
She
I
The
was
went.
covered.
curves.
I was covered. I was like, "It's gonna be something that shows a little something that's A-line, or I can go over something that's a little more form-fitting that has the high neck and the long sleeve and.
Mhm.
But I'm like, "You can't win." I mean, we're
Mm,
beautiful creatures, like, shoot.
big fact.
It's the appeal. Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
maybe sex appeal is not even the right word. It's just more
Mhm.
your
Attraction.
attractiveness comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And when you're at your best, that is very attractive because you feel at your best.
Because confidence is attractive. When you're confident
Yes.
in who you
Yeah.
are, how you show up, it comes off. It is definitely a type of vibe. It's a type of like,
Mhm.
je ne sais quoi. It's like
Mhm.
show up like that. And it's like, oh man, who is she? I want to, even the same sex will be like, oh man, who is
They
that?
wanna talk to you, yes.
Mhm.
And it's except for the
Your
people
presence.
except for the people who don't feel good in themselves, then they feel like you might be competition or
She
they
thinks
feel
she
like
cute.
right. But the people who are good with themselves, they're like, oh man, who is that? I like her
Yes.
style. Like, let me talk to her.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
knowing who you are makes a difference.
Yeah.
So are we saying because we have injection, surgery, or the gym? Whatever you choose, the gym is always gonna be in there. Gym meaning workout, like,
Yeah.
that's point
It's
blank,
gonna take
that's
work.
a given.
It's gonna take work.
Yeah.
It's gonna take work. It's gonna take effort. I think we just have to define, what that work looks like for you. Is that work in your finances so that you can afford the things? Or is that work in, you know, meal prep? Is that work in changing your mindset? Like it's all gonna be some type of effort required to get the thing. And I
Yeah.
think for me, I want to be the type of person, I want to have the type of community that celebrates. Listen, I don't care how you getting it done. I don't even care what your motivation is when you get started. I just care that you are growing and you're developing and becoming the best version of you, whatever route you decide to go.
Mhm.
And you are supposed
Ooh,
to.
I just had a
What?
thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What
What?
about the people who are, like, complaining about the cost?
Well,
Because another thing in these groups, so that I'm seeing in the bariatric groups is the conversation around well, first of all, the insurance system here is horrible. Like, how do you navigate the insurance system, getting it approved? Should I go to another country? All right, y'all. I done lost. One person said she lost like 274 pounds. I was like,
whoa,
I don't even weigh
that's
274 pounds.
amazing.
But
Yeah.
now she has like all this excess skin. She has a lot of excess skin,
Mhm.
but then it's not being covered. And people are like, well, get the surgery, don't get the surgery. The shots is too expensive. Surgery is expensive. I'm like, it's all
They're
hard.
telling her not to get the skin loss
Some
surgery?
it's mixed feedback. Like some people are saying, just tone up. And I'm just like, you've
You can't.
obviously never lost,
Yeah.
a whole person. It's not really possible. And some people look at it like, look, it's battle scars, right? Like, look what I went from. Me, I got a little more I want to do. It's also
Yeah.
very prohibitive in my workout.
Mhm,
So I told
mhm.
y'all about the time I was jogging and I had my earbuds in and I thought somebody was clapping and I took it out, and it was my stomach. There was the excess skin from y'all
Wow.
can laugh because I think that was funny. The
I
inside
know.
of
I'm
my
like,
Are you
when
okay?
I was
oh
like
my gosh.
I stopped, and it was like the inside of my thighs and my lower at my apron, and I'm like and even if I go to do sit-ups or if I wanna wear a cute dress, I'm like it's always like this reminder, and it's very just I can fold it, I can probably roll it, heck, but it's a lot of skin there.
Yeah.
But some people say, like, that's your reminder of, like, how far you've come, and I'm like, "Well, I can remember that and still wanna get."
Thank you. You can have a picture, put it on the fridge and remember.
Listen,
Like
them Facebook memories be coming up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Big Bertha, what was I thinking?" So, yeah, it's all expensive. Life
yeah,
is like, you just have
yeah,
to decide what you wanna invest in.
You can
yeah,
invest in your health or you can pay for your sickness. That's how I
yeah,
think about it. It's an
yeah.
investment
Right,
in you.
and there's no guarantee that if you pay f for your recovery later that you're even gonna recover. Like,
You might still
you
look, pick the bucket.
Hmm.
like I
Like,
said, you can get them you can risk getting those toes amputated if you want to.
yeah, yeah,
Think about all the therapy and the doctor's appointments and the medication and copay from the surgery, like, get the doggone injections or get the surgery if just make it
make it
work.
work for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
And
be
stop just
okay with it.
hmm?
I said, and be okay with it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes the fighting against it is more energy because we claim we don't have money. We claim we don't have the time. We don't
mhm.
have the energy. Like you gotta get something. You have if you don't have money, I get it. Then you gotta make time. If you
It's
don't
just
have
about
time,
money.
you gotta make mental energy. Like, how can you just
Mhm.
you don't have none of it, but yet you do have the time to complain about it.
Right. That
The
same time
problem.
you put
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yep.
Like if you
People
because did
find the
you see
money.
it? There's a lady, I love this lady. They show her. She's about 400 or 500 pounds, but she just videotapes herself walking or doing step up, step down, or whatever. And it just shows her little by I feel like we don't like small. Remember, I told you CJ said it, we don't respect small.
Mhm.
Like those little things, we're gonna look up a year later to where she might be working up to be able to get the surgery, but
Right.
she didn't just sit there and wait and say, I don't have this. Like she did something little by little. And
Yeah.
it's like so inspirational to see her with these little 10, 15-minute things consistently and like how she's just even transformed herself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think people feel like, well, if I'm gonna lose the weight, I have to like I have to live in the gym and be in there 6 days a week. And it's like, can't afford a gym membership.
Now, come
Listen,
on. Yeah, look, then you shouldn't
Planet Fitness is
afford internet.
$20. $20 a month. I'm looking to the side because I have the resistance bands in here. I got the
Mhm.
barbells. I got the foam rollers. There's really no excuse. You can go for a walk. You can go up and down the steps. You can do some
Yeah.
push-ups. Like YouTube is free. Now that's I'm not a big fan of YouTube University, but like it's free information
Yeah.
out there, right?
Mhm.
You can start somehow. So if you
Yeah.
really want
Yeah.
it, yeah,
So that's the message. The message is start somehow.
start.
Yes. And don't let the negative find a community of people that can help to validate you versus the ones that will, if you
Mhm.
feel discouraged, don't internalize that. Go to somebody that can encourage you
Yeah.
versus making you feel like, what did you say the person said? Whatever they say.
Who what
Negative
in the
stuff.
group?
Yeah, no, but you said somebody, I forgot. It's always some negative Nancy somewhere.
And
So
honestly, I get community. I actually thrive in community. I get getting the encouragement, but sometimes you gotta want it enough for yourself and be like, it's me.
yeah.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So like I actually was looking at a running club here because I'm like, I really want to get back to running.
Hmm.
But it's like, well, okay, until you can, find your tribe, Dion, you can still go for a run yourself,
That's
right? Like
true.
if you
Versus
want it
waiting.
bad enough, encourage yourself, boo boo. Do you don't need to
Mhm.
listen. At the end of the day, this is your body, this is your life. That's not anybody else's job to, egg you on or, you've got to want it bad enough. If you want to go get it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
you deserve it. You absolutely. I think a lot of people don't know they deserve it. So
Mm,
even if it's different, then your family or all the people that you've known around you that accept something lower for themselves, it's okay to want something more for yourself. Because
That's
I
Yeah.
really find that that's the case. Like, it's kind of hard because, like, I knew this lady, the whole family was like huge. So when she started changing, it's almost like she's the black sheep. And then it gets really
Mhm.
lonely because it's the whole like, you think
Yep.
you're this, or oh, you can't eat that now, or whatever it is that they say. So it's kind of, yeah.
I'm just giggling because I have family members that love chitlins, and they're like, "Oh, you too good for." I'm like, "'Cause I don't eat. Make it make sense."
Intestines. Okay.
Yeah, or as I like to call it, doo doo spaghetti. Like we are off the plantation. I don't have a desire, but whatever.
that's gross.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's absolutely gross.
Yes.
That would
So
have been a nice holiday topic. Like your
What?
favorite. What are our favorite like holiday foods and stuff? That would have been like really cute.
oh, maybe we can do
Yeah.
a one.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that one, guys.
We'll do
Right.
recipes next time. I know y'all did a live with your recipes, but
Oh, yes.
Oh, we did chili. Yes, we did. We have to do another one.
mm,
We should do healthy mac, something that's really succulent that people love, but like
mhm.
put our healthy twist on it.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with it.
All right,
All
ladies.
right.
Then we'll see you in the next episode. And
Okay,
what do we
doke.
each say? All right, we each, I know Kofia has hers. Like, do we have our ending sayings?
Oh,
Like,
go be great by mastering what's on your mind.
yes.
And remember, we grow better together.
Yes.